This is Mac and Bob. Bob, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, Mac. How about you, buddy?
I'm doing real good. I'm glad to be back on air with you right now, Bob, because I've been moving for the past several weeks, and it's been a real hectic for me, trying to get into a new place, settle in, get everything switched over to this and that, and from your credit cards, bank cards, whatever, bank accounts, and all other types of accounts that we may have. And just doing what we have to do to resettle and get back into to the saddle again, so to speak. And I want to apologize to my fans out there. I know all 500 of you. I appreciate you very much, and I hope you continue to come back and listen to us, because we like to share information to each and every one of you that as we mature in our lives, we like to share this with the younger people as well, as just to give them a little bit information as far as how the take that we have on what is happening in this world, from politics to social upheavals and everything else that's going on. And we've just been informed today, this is breaking news as far as Bob and I are concerned. Most of the times we get in on the back end of things and try to give our commentary regarding these things that's happening. But this is really significant here, is where the U.S. Attorney Merrick Garland has appointed special counsel in the ongoing probe of the president's son, Hunter Biden. This special counsel is U.S. Attorney David Weiss, and he will be responsible for the ongoing investigation of President Joe Biden's son, as well as for any other matters that may arise or may have arisen from that investigation. Now, the Justice Department said in a statement, Weiss, who was already overseeing the Hunter Biden probe and is based in Delaware, asked to be appointed special counsel on Tuesday. And Garland agreed it was in the public interest to do so, the Attorney General said. Now, the move was announced shortly before prosecutors from Weiss' team revealed in a court filing the plea talks over tax and gun charges against the president's son had broken down, and the case will likely have to go to trial in California or Washington, D.C. Later Friday, prosecutors suggested they could bring different charges against Hunter Biden in the new case. Now, the DOJ noted that Weiss was nominated by then President Donald Trump in 2017 and confirmed by the Republican-controlled Senate in 2018. Garland said the appointment reinforces for the American people the department's commitment to both independence and accountability in particularly sensitive matters. In a statement, Hunter Biden lawyer Chris Clark said, whether in Delaware, Washington, D.C., or anywhere else, we expect a fair resolution on behalf of our client. He said Weiss has diligently been investigating my client for 5 years, and he had proposed a resolution which we fully intend to pursue in court. It is hard to see why he would have proposed such a resolution if there were other offenses he could have successfully prosecuted. And we are aware of none. We are confident when all of these maneuverings are at an end, my client will have resolution and will be moving on with his life successfully. So, Bob, what do you think about that? Do you think that there's something here that's more devious or more in the plan of what they're trying to do? Because as he kind of indicated that the judge that they had a plea deal for Hunter, but the judge decided that, hey, this was too sweetheart of a deal for what this guy did. I mean, he failed to report, attempted to evade over $4 million in tax and income. So what do you think, Bob? What do you think is going on
Well, back I happen to see that as well, and it surprised me that they appointed this guy. He's already a prosecutor, a federal prosecutor, but they gave him, as he said, he requested that this new assignment, and it occurs to me that he was a little upset with that judge there in Delaware that they didn't accept the sweetheart deal, as you called it correctly, uh, with Hunter Biden uh, evading paying $1.5 million in taxes on the 4+ million that he made, that I think in 2017 and 18. But the judge turned that out. He pleaded guilty to that. Hunter Biden did, but he didn't plead on the gun charge. Uh, 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 and that's a serious felony. Here he is, a drug addict, active crack addict, and he lied on a federal form about his application for a gun. And they had worked out a deal where they were going to take this to the judge, and the judge would just say, "Oh yeah, that's not a big deal." Well, the judge didn't do that. The judge uh, threw it out, and the whole thing fell apart. And that's been about a week or so ago. And I think what may have happened was they said, "Well, look, this guy Weiss, who is, I think, masterminding this whole scheme, said, look, here's what we could do. Mr. Attorney General, you appoint me as a special counsel, give me ultimate authority. I don't have to report to anybody but myself. And then what I'll do is I'll continue my investigation, so-called, and I'll come to the conclusion that he's done nothing wrong, and the deal will be sweeter than it was before the judge threw it out." And because that defense attorney said it all. He said he pretty much let the cat out the bag by the statement you read by him. He said my client is has done nothing wrong, and he's going to be, in a sense, completely exonerated, and he's going to go about his life. Uh, think about how many thousands, tens of thousands of people are sitting behind bars right now with that kind of trumped up charges on them. And that was not, I didn't mean Trump in terms of President Trump, but I mean charges that have been put together falsely accusing them. And they're hoping for a sweetheart deal like this guy Biden is getting. But to wrap it up, what I think is going to happen is this. I think that this guy Weiss, he's going to continue his investigation, and he's going to say, "Look, the original deal that we gave Mr. Biden stands, and I don't find any reason to bring any more charges on him. So we're just going to drop this case, and he'll be completely exonerated. And as his defense attorney says, he'll be able to go on with his life." That's what I think is happening, back.
Well, Bob, we talked about this on one of our most recent shows about what the Biden family had been doing, and also about the congressional investigation into this to this to the Biden family, and that's headed by the James Comer, Republican of Kentucky, who is the chair of the House Oversight Committee. And he's been investigating the Biden family business dealings, and he blasted Weiss' appointment as part of the Justice Department effort to attempt that Biden family cover-up. And he said, he made a statement. He said the Biden Justice Department is trying to stonewall congressional oversight as we have presented evidence to the American people about the Biden's family corruption, Coleman said. And not only did he put a rip there against the Justice Department, Jim Jordan, a Republican in Ohio, chair of the House Judiciary Committee, also made a statement in which he, despite the appointment, despite having called for a special counsel before, but I guess he thought someone differently would be stepping in that position, Bob, because he's made the statement that Weiss can't be trusted, and this is just a new way to whitewash the Biden's family corruption. Weiss has already signed off on a sweetheart deal plea agreement that was so awful and unfair that a federal judge rejected it. Now, when you also have things like this going on, Bob, I mean, how far can a president go with his administration? Where is the check and balance system here in our government? I mean, what has happened to that? If the president, people, you got the Congress right there investigating what's going on. So what would be the next step for Congress to do in this situation, you think? I'm asking you now.
Oh, that's an excellent question. I don't know what the role of the Congress would be. I don't know, because you're right. I mean, checks and balances. That's why we have a three-pronged system: the judiciary, the legislative, and the executive branch. And you've got an executive branch that seems completely off the rails. And I don't think in my lifetime I've never seen an executive branch that seems to be as corrupt and out of control as this one is. One of the guys that I liked, I mean, I really liked him as president, was Richard Milhouse Nixon. He was one of my favorites, and the things that they got him on, railroaded him out of office, was nothing. I mean, it'd be like if you went into a bakery shop and Richard was in there and he stole a cupcake, and I came in and I stole somebody's wedding cake, and they said, well, what Bob did, that was no big deal. I mean, it ruined these people's wedding, and there was no big deal. Whereas what Richard Nixon did, he stole a little cupcake, and they ran him out of office, made him resign. So, it just doesn't comport with me, the degree of dishonesty that is occurring in this executive branch, in comparison to what happened during President Nixon's administration. And the legislature back then, in order to try to answer your question, all they did is they threatened to run him out of office, and he resigned rather than be impeached. And he appointed Gerald Ford to be his replacement. But here you have a case where you have the executive branch that is so corrupt, in my opinion, and so dishonest. They have taken over the government, the executive branch, and they're saying we are the king. And there's the people who are running the legislature, and you don't hear anything from the Supreme Court. I guess because it hadn't gotten there yet. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know exactly how that works. But you don't hear any of the other two
That's
prongs of
only
the government
that's
making any statement.
that's only if any charges are filed against some people there in the executive branch. That's when the Supreme Court will come in as it flows up. You know, that could be years down the road. You know, as you know how that.
Yeah.
But you know, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, he kind of echoed what Comer and Jordan was talking about and stated that this action by Biden DOJ cannot be used to obstruct congressional investigations or whitewash the Biden's family corruption. If Weiss negotiated the sweetheart deal that couldn't get approved, how can he be trusted as a special counsel? Now, under the terms of the now scraped deal, Hunter Biden would have pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of failing to pay his taxes in return for prosecutors recommending a sentence of probation. Now,
Right.
I can remember a person who failed to file a tax return with taxes, and there was a W-2 person employee. So it was no great harm to the government like this here is. And this guy served 6 months in prison on a misdemeanor charge of failure to file. Now,
right,
a separate felony gun possession charge for illegally owning a Colt Cobra 38 special handgun would have been dropped in 2 years if Biden honored the terms of what's known as a diversion agreement. I mean, who gets deals like this in real life, Bob? And I mean, in a plea hearing last month, a Trump-nominated judge declined to sign off on the deal, saying she wanted more information from the two sides about a typical provision, including one that could theoretically have protected Biden from other tax-related crimes. Now, you can see from all of this, Bob, that there is something very sinister in this whole process here with the Biden family, that they are protected, you know, because, and it goes all the way back during the Obama presidency, when Biden was over in Junior there was over in Ukraine in 2014, when they set up that deal over there and put Zelensky in and took out the other elected president of Ukraine.
Yes.
And they supported Zelensky and his neo-Nazis attacks on the Donbass area and other areas. There are the people that was mostly Russian in that area. They were killing them, stoning them, and doing everything else to them. And that is one of the reasons why Russia intervened in that conflict. But I don't want to get sidetracked with that, Bob. I just want to put all of that in perspective, that these United States right here, executive branch, had something to do with what's happening in Ukraine today. And the Bidens made a lot of money off it, not only from Ukraine business people, oligarchs there, but also from China, whom they have a beef with right now. So you tell me, Bob, what is going on in this country right here of ours, especially now we got a situation over there in Nigeria, where they are calling the people, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow, but they're calling the people over there gangsters, administrations. I mean, what more gangster looking than what has just happened here with our Department of Justice?
Right.
They are doing. I mean, they are pulling their own coattails, so to speak, to make things happen the way they want it to happen. Hey, you do this. You're gonna be the head honcho in this particular case right here of my son. Not that Biden himself is probably saying that, but somebody somebody that got power over that executive branch, Bob. They are doing this.
Well, you know, back, and I don't mean to put, because I know a lot of your audience is probably of different races and culture, but I have to look at things the way I look at things, and it occurs to me with that question that you just raised with regards to those African countries. Those are all Negroid people over there, and they call them gangsters. And you've never heard, I have never heard, I'll put it that way, I have never heard, they call them a crime family, but I have never heard any reporter here in America call this Caucasoid family, they call them a crime family, but I've never heard them refer to them as gangsters. In other words, a low life type of criminal, as opposed to a white collar criminal. And I don't, that's just the way I look at stuff. But it's shameful. And the one thing that gets me, because I'm a Catholic, I was raised as a Catholic kid, and I've done my dirt too. So I'm not exonerating myself from anything that was culpable. But Joe Biden is a Catholic. He's a Roman Catholic, just like I'm a Roman Catholic. And the stuff that they're doing is against our religion. And that's a thing that that I look at. How could you profess to be a man of God and a man of Christ, and do the kind of things that you're doing, just constantly lying? You've been lying all your life, ever since you plagiarized yourself through law school, and plagiarized yourself in the legislature. You tried to make Justice Thomas look like a black buffoon when he was before your committee, the Judiciary Committee, and he was smart enough to let you all know, you and all of your Caucasoid buddies know, and let the world know that what you all were trying to pull off was a technical, a high tech lynching, and it didn't work. And now it appears to me that you're pulling off a high crime of millions of dollars in theft. I saw a report the other day where they said that the crime family, these Caucasoid gangsters here in America, have raised as much as up to $50 million. So it's shameful. I mean, I don't know. I don't think God is blessing any of this, and it'll shake out in the end, because I think God will continue to bless America, and let leaders, so-called leaders, like the crime family, come to leadership and continue to steal from its constituency. That's my take on it, Mac.
Well, Bob, we're going to leave it right there. And I want to thank you again for taking time from your day to come on here and discuss this here earth-shattering and breaking news here on the Mac Commentary. Thanks a lot, Bob, and have a great rest of your day. And we will be talking to you tomorrow, and we'll be talking about what's happening over in Niger and some other topics as well. So we look forward.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Mac, and you have a great day as well.
Thank you, Bob. And people, I look forward to you subscribing and liking and sharing this video. Thank you and have a great evening.